All right, so we're gonna start with upper shoulder raises. And then once we finish the shoulder raises, then we're probably gonna do some hamstrings because I still have a partially torn hamstring. So definitely not advantageous when you want to, how do you say? It's not very good to have that when you're trying to train. Ruber, what's up, brother? How are you? Just give me 1 second. Let me set up the little camera thing here. Just give me 1 second. I'll be chatting with you guys. Cool. Let's see. All right. Maybe like that. Cool. What's up, brother? Huh. All right, Maggie, I gave you moderator back. You made me feel so bad, Maggie. Are you a robot? I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it, though. Well, even if you're a robot, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. I know you're 9. Well, whether you're 9 or whatever, I am getting a pump today. So I'll show you. Operation Stay Lean. I'll show you some lightings later, and I'm looking pretty good. Oh. Well, bye, Maggie. Well, Maggie, you're gone. Yeah, Robert, that's why Maggie's going to be taken off the channel. So, yeah. So we're good. Thanks, Maggie, you're gone. And you will not be welcome back. Cool. No, I want you, Robert. I know that you're younger and I get younger viewers in here. So no, just so you know, any parents watching, when I have sickos that come in and say that, I remove them from the channel. So yes, that's not good. You shouldn't go around doing that. So then we're gonna hide them from the channel and then boom. Okay, so now we're back. Yeah, Robert, if you're 9, that's cool. Even though I tell this channel not to be for kids. So, again, guys, I don't lift heavy. I do volume and pump training. I do have a back injury, but I'm gonna show you how I train to stay in shape at nearly 40 years old. And what we're doing now is we're warming up. So what we're doing is we're kind of warming up. And what I do is I've lost about 100 pounds. I'm close to 40 years old. So what I'm gonna show you to do is how you can use lighter weight and use more volume to achieve a better physique. Now look, if you wanna be a strength athlete or a power lifter, then I don't recommend training the way I do. But if you wanna have like a very tight waist, wide shoulders, and you wanna have that athletic physique, this is a very good way to train. Right. Again, we're just warming up. We're just warming up is all we're doing. So, again, so for my physique, I look to aim to have, I look to get really lean. I want to have a tight waist, and how I train is to be lean. Do a deadlift? Nah, I'm not doing deadlifts. There's no need for me to do deadlifts, brother. I got herniated discs in my back. I don't train for strength or power. I train for aesthetics. There's nothing wrong with deadlifts. Cool. Yeah, so guys, I used to have a 725 pound deadlift, but I used to be a power athlete, but I herniated discs in my back, so I can barely squat or deadlift without pain. So look, I'm not against those heavy ass lifts, but yeah, so it kind of sucks. Now, see, if I take the bar and I start doing this, it's a lot of pain in my back, and I have a torn hamstring right now. So no, I still like to lift heavy, but I can't lift heavy right now until I fix this without surgery. So what I'm showing you is how to use volume and shorter rest periods to make up for heavy lifting. Now look, if you want to be very thick and grainy, you got to lift heavy weight. But because I'm 220 pounds at 6'4", and I have a 31-inch waist and really wide shoulders, I'm training to have that wide aesthetic look as a natural lifter. So I'm just showing you kind of ways to train. Even if you're a power lifter, do I have abs? They're in there. You can kind of see them a little bit. You see what I mean? They're in there. I'll show you later in the right lighting, they look pretty decent. But the last day and a half, I ate a little bit of naughty food, and I can tell you that I'm a little bit bloated today. But getting to the workout, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the Smith machine, and what I like to do is I like to come up to here, and I like to pull just right through here. Now what you can see is I'm contracting right here. I wanna get my elbows up to here, and what I wanna do is I wanna get a good contraction. So I'm not trying to do this. I'm not going super slow. What I'm doing is I'm squeezing the chest and right through here and the shoulders. Now you could come up through here, but I like to come right about there. And what I'm doing is, every time I come up, 3, 4. Keep in mind, we're still warming up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, again, just trying to get a good squeeze. I'm gonna come up, and what I'm trying to do is, I'm not just trying to lift the weight. What I'm trying to do is when I come up, I'm trying to make sure that I get that solid contraction, because contracting muscles is what's going to make your body change, not lifting weights. Strength is neurological. That's gross. I don't know what's gross. Yeah, I mean, no, I have the bottom abs, and I have the serratus, and I have the stuff in here. I'm not as lean as I've been in the past, but again, you can see how I have that taper in that lats. I try to make an upside down triangle. I like to have the old school physique. I'm not trying to be a super huge guy. I'm trying to do more sculpting. So now back to the rest time. This is what I want to show you. You see I did 12 reps, and then I'm resting. I'm resting, but then I'm gonna do 12 more reps, right? So now I'm gonna do 12 more reps, which is gonna be here. 1, so solid contraction. Squeeze. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. Another set, rest 30 to 45 seconds. This is not meant to be training to failure. What this is meant to do is to contract the muscles and to get a good squeeze, right? Remember, I believe, and I'll show you with later, that too many people lift weights too heavy, and I've lost about 100 pounds, right? And one of the ways that I train is I do a lot more volume. Your shoulders are wide. Yeah, so I really like wide shoulders. I have 51-inch shoulders and a 31-inch waist. I'm not as thick as I used to be, but my shoulder width, because let's say you want to model or you want to, have people take pictures of you, you have to have wide shoulders. So chest and triceps are kind of my weak points, and my back, like if you see my back from the angles when I actually do my back work, I've got a very good taper. So I train more for that taper more than that. Ooh, I am 9. Well, that's okay, man. Whether you're not, hey, what is that? Who is that in your tattoo? Yeah. Yeah, so this one is very good for shoulders, but what I'm doing today, because I do 3 days on, 1 day off, I train 6 days a week. So I don't train super heavy. Now it's time for another set. So I'm gonna put a little bit more weight on, not much. But remember, my goal is to do 8 to 10 sets. I like to do more volume because that's what's gonna sculpt the physique. Volume is gonna give you that aesthetic, lean look. Heavy weights are gonna make you thicker. So I'm in a phase where I wanna get as lean as possible while holding muscle, so I'm gonna do more volume, right? You see the picture in my tag when I'm doing that side pose? Like you see how I go from the side, how I have that shoulder and that tie in here, right? The shoulders are going to really pop the physique. So, it's strategic how I train, right? So another set. So what you want to do is you're not doing this and you're not doing this. What you're doing is you're kind of leaning forward, you're stretching it down, and when you stretch it down, you're coming up, and when you come up to here, you're kind of putting your elbow up to here. You're driving that elbow up to the sky, and you're getting a good contraction, so you won't squeeze, squeeze, 3, squeeze, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Woo. Oh yeah. So again, I want 12 reps and then about 45 seconds of rest, and I want more sets and more volume. My goal is to do more sets and more volume to where each time I'm getting more quality instead of an all-out set. Those all-out sets will do good for you, but boy, they strain your nervous system, and I'm not trying to train myself to be dead for the next 7 days. All right, I used to train like that, but I'm almost 40 years old, guys. I train a little bit smarter these days. Show us your LWC, don't know what that is. Lat spread from the back. Now, I'm not doing any posing right now, man. I've got plenty of stuff on there. I've got plenty of videos of me doing some posing online. This is more about asking questions about people who want to train. So this is for asking questions about training for aesthetics. So go through the chat. Someone said, show us your abs now. Yeah, but just because somebody asked something doesn't mean I have to do it, right? So again, 45 seconds of rest. Next set. Next shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good squeeze. 9, 10, 11, 12. So remember, each time I'm coming up, when I'm getting my elbows up, I'm trying to get a good contraction on the delts. So that good contraction on the delts is what I'm aiming for. And if 12 to 15 feels pretty good, then I'll put on 5 more pounds. 5 or 10 more pounds, Simple as that. All right. So again, one of the things is I believe that most people are resting too long. Now look, if you want to get bigger and stronger and thicker, yeah, do your 6 to 8, do your 2 to 3s, and that'll get you powerful. But if you want to have that lean separation and delineation, I think there's a better way to train, because I try to look like a fitness model. I'm not a power athlete. I don't care how much weight I can lift. I'm just here to contract muscle. So, and what that allows you to do is train, look good year round, and I think it's a better way to train. Now, we'll get our next set, another 10 to 12, and we're gonna do like 8 to 10 sets. So that'll be 8 to 10 sets of 10 to 15 reps. So it's gonna be about 150 to 160 repetitions with only 30 to 45 seconds. So you're building your aerobic system, you're getting circulation, and that's what's gonna make your body look leaner, is being in shape. All right? Very good. Very good. So you want to make sure when you're doing it, you're breathing and you're making sure that you're breathing and you're contracting each rep. So again, breathing and contracting each rep. In each one, you want to get that contraction. I wish I would have trained this way when I was younger, instead of doing like when I was younger, and you can see from the side, you know, right through here, I don't have the best lighting here, but you can kind of see how the upper body here is being filled with blood. The whole point is to get that area filled with blood, and then over time you can get more blood in there, and then yeah, you want to lift heavier weight, but if you're lifting heavy weight just to lift weight, but you're not contracting each rep, and you're just not gonna get that separation and that delineation, especially if you're natural. Because, you know, I train with people who are enhanced, and they're huge and big and all, but their skin doesn't look good. Some of the big powerlifters I train with, they're super strong. They lift way more weight than I do, but, you know, they don't get paid money to take their shirt off. So you have to train for your goal. So I always tell people, whether you're a power lifter, whether you're a strength athlete, whether you're aesthetics, you need to know what your goal is and have a training and eating plan to get you to that goal. Does it make sense? So now it's time for another set. All right? And we are slightly going up in weight as we go, but the lowest number of rates I'll do is 8 to 10. If I can't do at least 8 reps, then the weight's too heavy. All right, so also in between, I like to kind of stretch and kind of keep my body going. This movement right here is very good, because as you pull your elbows up, by pulling your elbows up, you're actually getting your rear delts and stuff to contract back. So this is a really good exercise just for overall development of the shoulders, right? You see how my shoulders pop out way over here? That's by design. So, and again, it's not heavy lifting. I did lift heavy when I was younger, but there comes a point when the weight gets so heavy, you're using so much of your nervous system versus your muscles, you need to make sure that you're contracting the muscle with each rep. The contraction of the muscle is what's gonna change how you look, not the amount of weight lifted. The weight can be too heavy, it can be too light, but you wanna get that tension, you wanna get that squeeze, and you don't wanna go too slow, you don't wanna go too fast. There's a sweet spot, just like playing an instrument, right? So we're gonna put 5 more pounds on because we're feeling good. And now we're gonna continue to go up. Now, as you notice, I'm only resting about 45 seconds between sets, and I've already done 7 sets. So, you know, it's not super hard because it's not heavy, but you see I'm not doing 1 set of 6, resting for 5 minutes. 1 set of 7, resting for 5 minutes. That's not gonna make your body have that aesthetic look. It's gonna make you big, it's gonna make you thick. But those types of workouts, the big thickness, when you wanna put on mass, you should do that in like a separate program. See, when I wanna get large, if I wanna get bigger, I'll do 4 to 6 weeks where I'll do compound lifts and I'll get thicker, but throughout the year, 80% of the time, I'm lifting more volume because I wanna train as often as I can and get my body in shape without killing it. And that heavy weight, if you do it too often, just fries your nervous system. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whew. Very good. So again, every rep here. Bam, squeeze, elbows straight up. Whew. So keeping my breath to where I can still have a conversation. So again, the rest times are 45 seconds to 60 seconds and 8 to 10. So that's like 8 sets. So we've already done 135 reps, right? And in between, I might even move and stay stretching. So that's kind of, you know, that's the basis to my training principles. When I train my friends and I train my clients, unless they're trying to be a strength athlete, which is cool, the aesthetic physique is more about training, less rest, more sets. And I'm only giving each body part 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm gonna train my shoulders and traps for 8 to 10 sets. Then I'm gonna go to my side delts, right? And then I may finish with calves or hamstrings, but each muscle is only getting about 25 minutes of work, right? Well, I don't want huge traps, man. I don't want huge traps. I still work my traps, but I have separation in lines. Well, I'll tell you what, put a picture of you up and let's see how you look. Again, I'm not trying to get huge traps, but if you see through here, I have lines that come through here. So I'm not training to get huge and have all this extra mass. I'm trying to have detail in my physique. It's body sculpting. It's a lot different. I mean, I'm 6'4", 220 pounds, and you can see lines throughout my whole body, including my legs, my calves. So what I'm getting at is, if you want huge traps, that's fine, but you're not gonna look good. Huge traps make you look more narrow. Look at Phil Heath and look at all these competitive bodybuilders, right? Their traps are in proportion to your shoulders. I like larger delts and being wider, just large traps to me, they look powerful and they're cool, but I don't like the way it looks on the physique. That's not my preference. But if that's your preference, then do that. Sure, but looking strong doesn't make you get paid money to take your shirt off. If I go try to model for somebody and my traps are too big, I won't get paid, right? It is what it is, man. So that's 9 sets. 9 sets. So again, you train for your goal, but if your goal is to be a fitness model or get paid to have a very aesthetic flowing physique, you want wider delts, you want some traps, but you don't want your traps too large. It spoils your shape. Just look at Steve Reeves. Look at Steve Reeves from the 60s. Width for photos. And you have to have calves and legs, which I have decent legs too. So, you know, those balances and those proportions are very important. But, you know, everybody's got their ideal physique. So you train the way you want your physique to look. However, no matter which way you slice it, you will look better and you will have more definition and more quality muscle if you apply the volume principle versus intensity, right? Now, look, you train the way you want to, but take it from someone who's a professional trainer who gets paid to take his shirt off. The system works. I've lost 100 pounds. I get paid to look a certain way. So this is how I train to do that. You can use it or you can do something else, but it's not going to change the way I train. Nah, it's not genetics. Nah, I'm the only one in my family that's in shape. The rest of my family is overweight, and you know, a lot of my family, I'm the only one that's in shape in my family, right? So it's not really genetics. It's more like 15 years of training consistently and doing cardio and staying in shape, even through injuries. And you gotta guys remember, I have 2 herniated discs. So I used to be a competitive strongman, right? When I was in the Navy, I did strongman competitions and I was 300 pounds, right? Do I have the same tattoo as Ozzy? No. I designed these tattoos when I was in the Navy. All right, next set. So now we're gonna move from this to actual trap work. So now, because my traps are stronger, I'm gonna put a little bit more weight on there. Right. Nothing crazy. I mean, we're not lifting heavy weight, guys. We're only lifting like 135 to 155 pounds. So now we're gonna go from sides to right through here. So now we're gonna come down and pull up right through here. Just right there. One set of 12. Again, with the traps, a lot of people do this. What you want to do is you want the weight to be in front of you. And when you come up, you want to get grounded. And what you really want to do is you really only want that. But it depends on how you angle your body and what you hit. So Mike Mentzer was an advocate of the heavy duty training style. Now, I believe that it does work to get bigger and stronger. However, just because you get bigger and stronger, doesn't mean that you'll get more delineation and separation. I think training, I mean, you can look at Dorian Yates and Mike Mentzer's heavy duty training. I think 99% of the population will not be able to do that type of training long term. See, my goal is to be able to train until I'm 100 years old. So because I want to train my entire life, I don't think that destroying your body every workout and giving it 7-8 days to recover is the way to do it. It will get you bigger and stronger doing that, but it's not going to give you that lean aesthetic physique. It's just not in my opinion. So if you look at Serge Nubret, you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, you look at Greg Plitt, you look at all of the modern physiques, a lot of them, they would use some heavy training here and there, but they did more volume training. Yes, they may have built their base with some strength, but in order to get that separation, they did more volume, more repetition, and they almost turned weightlifting into an athletic event, right? So for me, I don't think most people should do that. Now, I would tell you this, try it. You know, try to do your heavy all-out sets and recover from that, but your risk of injury is gonna go up. So to me, I'd rather train more frequently with not as much intensity, but make sure my volume goes up over time. St. Jason. Stress plus rest equals improvement. It does, but it depends on what you're stressing. If you're just lifting heavy and you're not getting a good squeeze and you're not eating properly, you're gonna train your nervous system for strength more than your muscle system. So, you know, it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to just get stronger, that's cool. My goal isn't to get stronger in the gym. My goal is to contract my muscles with more weight, right? I contract and move weight versus just move weight without a contraction, because strength is neurological. Now, if you're a power athlete and you need that, then train that way. But if you're not one of those athletes and you want to change your body and make it look leaner and have that like fitness model physique to when you take your shirt off at the beach, you look good, right? Or you're just walking around, you feel good without your clothes on, I think there's a better way to train. That's my own opinion. Next set. Another 12. Set of 12, rest. Set of 12, rest. St. Jason, what's up, brother? Yeah. Look, if you stress the body really hard and then you eat and rest, you're gonna grow. Happy late Valentine's Day. Oh, thank you. But again, know what you're training for. Have you guys ever heard of Greg Plitt? He is the type of physique that I want. If you want to know what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to look like Greg Plitt. He was 6'1", 195 pounds, shredded. But, you know, when it comes to like having that physique and having it lean, because my waist is only 31 inches, guys. I have a 31-inch waist. So I'm trying to keep the waist really narrow and build muscle without having like a giant midsection. So that involves cardio sessions, core sessions, hypertrophy sessions, dieting, and you know, I'm almost 40 years old, guys. I'm not in my 20s, I'm almost 40. So, and I'm kind of bloated right now because I ate a bunch of fried chicken last night as a refeed. I ate like 10 chicken strips and a big old thing of French fries. So I'm a little bit bloated this morning. But, all right, next set. Next set. Right through here. See, I like to come down, lean forward, and then come all the way up. So that's about 8 sets for we did 8 sets here, and that's 4 sets here. So we're gonna do about 20 sets. And then we're gonna do 2-3 more sets. Then we're gonna go sides for the side delts. And then maybe we finish with calves, maybe hamstrings if we're feeling it. But again, no longer than 90 seconds, preferably 45 to 60 seconds of rest, continuing to add up that volume, right? Remember, weight times reps equals your volume. The more volume that you can do in a shorter period of time, right, with less rest, that is a form of progressive overload than just adding more weight on its own. And if you've never trained this way, and you train this way for about 3 months, your body's gonna look leaner. And especially if you throw in the nutrition and you do like what I teach you, the protein, the carbs, and the fats, the right ratios. I train 6 days a week, 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, and sometimes I train twice a day. But I'm never going to full failure. I'm building work capacity, the ability to keep moving. So when you train that way, you're able to train more frequently, more quality reps, and you're not frying your nervous system. Because if you do heavy deadlifts or heavy squats, and you get really strong doing that, you fry your nervous system, and sometimes you fry your central nervous system before the muscles are adequately stimulated, all right? And then if you're not in shape, sometimes your breathing gets out before your muscles fail. So, you know, your muscles respond to volume. They really do. For most people, volume is gonna be the secret, not intensity. You want a certain level of intensity, but volume over time, building upon your work capacity, is gonna be more sustainable for most athletes long term. Oh yeah, Frank Zane had an awesome physique. Yeah, Frank Zane is one of my favorite physiques of all time. Good vacuum, wide shoulders. Like, he had the vacuum where he could go like this and he could turn in. Yeah, Frank Zane was amazing. Frank Zane's probably one of my favorite physiques of all time. Him and Steve Reeves. I like Steve Reeves and Frank Zane. Those are my two favorite physiques. Arnold's cool, all of them, but I don't have Arnold's genetics. I'm more leaner, right? So I like Frank Zane, Steve Reeves. Oh, so this is my mouthpiece. So what I do is when my reps get really hard, I bite on this. And what I do is when I bite it, it helps me squeeze. When I put my mouthpiece in, it's my cue to contract muscles. So it's really cool. I use the New Age Performance mouthpiece. So you think about it, I'm trying to squeeze and contract every rep. So it helps me keep my form in position. See. Nice haircut, G. Ah, thanks, man. Appreciate you. What's up? Silent Samurai, cool? No altitude trainer. I tell you guys, if you're in the gym, it depends on how you're training. If you're trying to do a heavy deadlift or a heavy squat and use a mouthpiece, it will help. But I use it as a cue. I know when I put this in and I bite it, I'm almost squeezing my jaw, because remember, I don't lift heavy weight. I mean, I don't lift heavy. I do more volume and I do more squeezing. So when I bite the mouthpiece, it helps remind me contract the muscle, because every rep has to have a contraction. If I don't contract the muscle properly, then my body is not going to elicit an adaptive response that's going to be cohesive with my goal, which is aesthetics. Right? Does that make sense? Again, and you gotta remember, I'm natural. All right, I'm a natural athlete. I'm not geared up and on steroids and doing all this shit. All right, it's taken me 15 years to get to my physique. Squeeze. Squeeze. Well, all right, very good. So that's that. Whew, we'll put you guys over here for a second. All right. So you can see, so just to the side, just to the back. You see how the back is to there? So now what we're gonna do, that's 3 exercises. Each exercise is gonna have between 6 to 8 reps. And rest time is between 45 to 90 seconds. All right. Now, the next, which is very cool, I think I put my bag over here. Now the next is gonna be doing side delts. Oh yeah. Put over here somewhere. Yeah, the owner of the gym, I've done told him to put a new battery in that damn smoke detector. That shit drives me crazy, dude. I can't, I'm out to get my own damn battery and come to do it myself. So, now we're gonna move on to the next thing, right? It drives me crazy, that damn smoke detector. This shit pisses me off, dude. I'm like, come on, dude. So, next one is gonna be over here, and we're gonna work on side delts. All right, side delts, side delts, side delts. Right through here, right through here. That's a little bit better lighting, see what I mean? So for this one, now we're gonna do side delts. All right. So, again, I'm only taking 10-pound weights, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now pay attention to the form on these. I'm not doing this. I'm not going out like this. What I'm doing is I'm putting them face like this. And when my elbow goes up, I'm bringing my elbow up like this. All right, so it's a difference between this, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you get to the top, you want to contract that delt. You actually want to feel a squeeze in that delt. All right? So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 reps. 12 reps of 10. 12 reps, 40 seconds of rest. 12 reps, 40 seconds. All right, now we got the 15s. All right, questions? Yeah, I wish the gym owner would change that battery, which is kind of funny because you have 2 people that are up at the front of the gym, usually during the week, and all they do is sit there and play on their phones. If I was the owner of the gym and I had them here and they weren't doing that, I would fire them. Because I used to own a gym in California before my divorce. So, I don't know, teach their own. I don't judge people, but I only got this gym membership because it's open 24/7. So sometimes I train at 2 in the morning, sometimes I train at 12. Anyways, all right, so 45 seconds of rest. Another set. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, squeeze, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. See, I'm not going to failure. What I'm doing is 1, 2, all the way up to 12. 12 reps, right? 12 reps, 45 seconds of rest, repeat. 12 reps, 45 seconds of rest, repeat. Now, you do that, we're gonna do, we've already done 8 sets here, 5 sets here, 5 sets here, so that'll be 15 to 20 sets for shoulders within, 45 minutes, if not less, right? So again, volume over weight to look chiseled. Bullshit. St. Jason, not true. If you have to take 2 to 3 minutes between sets, and you're trying to look more aesthetic. Now, if you're trying to build strength, yeah, rest 5 minutes. But if you're trying to be aesthetic and lean, nah, you're lifting too heavy. You'll have to lighten the weight and build up work capacity. The work capacity is what's going to elicit a myofibrillar response. It's work capacity. I'm a professional athlete. This is what I do for a living, guys. So. Twelve reps. Less weight. Now look, I train power lifters too. You guys gotta remember I have 2 herniated discs after my injury. Okay, so it used to be 300 pounds. I'm telling you, yeah, if you wanna be stronger, lift heavy, 5 by 5, cool. But if you're trying to look better, that's not gonna make you look better. It's not. It's just not, man. But the phone's about to die. Hope you enjoyed this thing. I'm gonna finish the workout and you guys stay good. Now, St. Jason, here's the thing, get a pen and paper. Do half the amount of weight, right? Focus on your form and rest 30 to 45 seconds with 10 to 15 for a specific body part and nail it within 30 minutes and focus on 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat.